Let's do part B, question 1 from 23.03. So here it is, 1b. So it says the velocity after 8 seconds. Now, of course, we can return to our velocity equation. So I had it on the other sheet, which was this one over here, you'll recall. And we had an equation for velocity, which was 3t squared minus 3t minus 58. So let's go ahead and use that one. So velocity we have, and that's how we found the equation, you'll recall, minus 3t minus 58. So we're asked for the velocity after 8 seconds. So now v is equal to 3 times 8 squared minus 3 times 8 minus 58. So what does all that come to? Well, I'll just do it on the calculator to make life a little bit more simple. Let's have a look here. 1 second. So, sorry, I'm using an RPN calculator. I just can't get my head around it. Here we go. Right. Okay, my bad. Okay, so I'm using an RPN calculator, which means we do everything. See, it says RPN on the word. That stands for reverse Polish notation. So rather than going 1 plus 2 equals, you go 1 plus 1 enter 2 plus. So you think about it sort of kind of backwards. All right, well, let's do it the way which they want us to do it. So in this case, I've got 8 squared. So I go 8 enter times 3 times, and then I've got 3 8s are 24, so I go 24 minus, and I go 58 minus, and I get 110. So the velocity is going to be 110 meters per second, and that's the answer for question 1b. All right. So question 1b, that's the velocity. So again, you need to write the velocity after 8 seconds is 110 meters per second. Make sure that you're playing the game, and you make sure you give them the right information in an English sentence, yeah? So that's B. Here's C. It says the distance traveled in the first 10 seconds. All right, so in this case, we're going to have to find an equation for S. So we know that S is equal to the integral of velocity with respect to time. So S is equal to, so here's the velocity equation, 3t squared minus 3t minus 58. So let's see what we've got now. And I'm going to put, of course, a plus c on the end here. So we're going to increase the power by 1. There it is, divide by the new power. Increase the power by 1, divide by the new power. Increase the power by 1, divide by the new power, and of course we get our c term on the end. Let's tidy all that up. 3 divided by 3 is 1, so it's going to be t cubed minus, and we'll just leave that as, I like it 3t, by the way, on 2, rather than 3 over 2 t squared, minus 58t, and then we've got our plus c. So now we return and we say, well, what's happening at the beginning? So this is where we have to look at the initial information that we were given. And it does say the particle is initially 5 meters from P and has a velocity of 2 meters per second after 5 seconds. But initially means at time 0. So when time is 0, that means that the distance, or S, will be initially 5 meters. So I'm going to tack on here the C value, which must be 5. Because, and you probably want to say that. You want to say at t equals 0, S equals 5. So I think that's a reasonable thing to do. So there is now our equation. And the question asks, it says, what's the distance traveled? Where? By the ship. Here we go. I'm looking. Same thing. Both are 10 seconds. Distance traveled in the first 10 seconds. So let's have a shot at that. So you've got the equation. So S is equal to t cubed, which is 10 cubed, minus 3 times 10 squared over 2, minus 58 times 10 plus 5. Well, of course, 10 cubed is 1,000, yeah? Minus, well, 10 squared is 100. 100 divided by, well, 100 times 3 is 300. Divided by 2 is 150. So that's 150 minus, well, 58 times 10 is 580 plus 5. All right, well, what does it all come to? I'm going to do it on the calculator to make my life easy. So here we go. So we've got, here's our 1,000. Let's take off the 150. Take off the 580. And we're going to add 5. And we get 275. So the distance traveled after 10 seconds is 275 meters. Oops, you can't see that. I'm just writing it in. So that's how I would solve 1C for that. Again, confusing the way the initial thing was written out. So I have advised people just move on. Don't worry about this nonsense. But at the end of the day, that would be an excellence type question, simply because you've got, just to find the velocity, you've got a few things to put in place in order to set you on the right track. So good luck with that. Hope you did that okay. Otherwise, do move on if you run into difficulties. And the same in the exam. Don't get caught out by a question and just say, right, I've got to finish it. I've got to, no, stop, move on to the next question. All right, folks, hopefully that's useful.